Hello, everybody. You've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, Sergeant Rich Myers with the Indiana State Police Public Information Office. I want to thank the sponsors, Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. Tom Trial behind the man's scene that puts us on the Indiana State Police YouTube site with each and every show that we do. Thank you, Tom. Captain Dave Burston is my guest today, longtime friend, longtime member of the Indiana State Police Roadshow. Captain, thank you for being in here today.
Thanks very much for inviting me to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
And I think if people are watching us here on the YouTube, want to take a moment just to say, to remember we've got our black badge bands on and to let people know why we've got those on there.
Yeah, we have our, I'm sure everybody realizes that we had a horrible incident in Dallas that occurred where a crazed person took the life of 5 police officers, 4 Dallas police officers, 1 transit officer, also shot at least 1 civilian, and I think I heard maybe a second one had some injuries. Just you're at a loss for words over what goes through somebody's mind on that. And I think it's also no secret to anybody that we tape our shows, and
Yep.
and as you're listening to this show, probably much more will be known about what just happened in Nice, France. Over 80 people there killed because of a terrorist act, and we live in very strange times now, and it kind of makes you want to pine for the good old days of the Cold War.
Yeah. And I just want to take a moment to remember those officers that were killed in line of duty and to remember their families. Keep those families and officers every day in your prayers and thoughts. So we appreciate what their sacrifice that they do. That beside, let's talk about something that you're going to be involved with here pretty soon, the RNC.
Well, my participation in that is very minimal, and the man you always talk about being behind the camera, Tom Trial, is
Right.
going to be there as well. And this has been in the news media. The Indiana State Police are sending 100-plus troopers over to Cleveland. We were requested by the state of Ohio under what's called an EMAC. It's an emergency management agreement. Don't ask me what the initials stand for. It's not important. But the bottom line of this agreement, which all states can enter into if requested by another state, is that they say, hey, we need some help. Will you come help us in this event? And some people have thought, wow, it's Indiana State Troopers going to Ohio. This is weird. Cats and dogs sleeping together. What's going on?
But this is not the first time we've reached out and helped our fellow police officers.
No, this is not the first time at all. People go back and think more to natural disasters. When we had Hurricane Sandy that hit out in New Jersey, we had a handful of troopers go out and assist with that. Some of our people that were had particular scuba skills, water skills, were there for that.
I think they took some equipment with them also.
Took some equipment too. And beyond that, probably one of the biggest things we ever did as far as a mass deployment, not just police officers, but the National Guard and Department of Natural Resources with conservation officers as well, when Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast.
Right.
And we had people deployed there for 6 weeks assisting primarily Biloxi Police Department and the city of Biloxi.
And you were a part of that.
I was a part of that. And I have to tell you, Rich, is probably one of the most rewarding things that I was ever engaged in as a part of the Indiana State Police. The true gratefulness from the people that we came down there to help. And there was a lot of questions about when we came there because they didn't have the greatest relationship with their own highway. It's a highway patrol in Mississippi, and the local agencies didn't have the highest level of cooperation. Yeah, and when we got there, there's that natural assumption, oh, it's the state police. What are they going to do? But in the end, their words, they said, you got out of your cars, you got into our cars, you gave us a break, the first break we'd had since this had happened. We got there 5 days after the hurricane. First break we had, and you backed us up, and if there was a fight, you got in the thick of it, and they took a photograph of our door shield and put it up in their police department.
Do you still maintain any contacts with those individuals down there?
Jackie Rhodes is their public information officer. He is still there. Just exchanged an email with him last week, and they kind of returned the favor after the Henryville hurricane.
Okay.
They took up a collection. They had a beans and rice. I guess that's a big Southern thing. I'm not into that
sure
beans and rice thing, but they raised $10,000 and sent it up to our two troopers that were victims of the Henryville hurricane, of the Henryville tornado.
Yeah.
So that was very special.
Well, that's great that friendship still fosters
It's there.
today.
And really what it illustrates is, as much as people want to try to read things into Indiana, sending people over to Ohio, and then I've been asked, well, what's Indiana going to do for the DNC? And I said, look at your maps, folks. The DNC is being held in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's really not a day drive. We're going to Cleveland. That's a 5-hour drive, very easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what I want to emphasize is the planning for this started weeks ago. The request came a few months ago because some people in media and outside the media.
You mean it didn't just start when Pence was asked about the VP?
People want to make the connection that we're going there because of the possibility of Governor Pence being selected as a vice president. And
it may well be by the time this airs.
By the time this airs, we may have an answer. But today, as you and I are talking right now, we don't know, and we're not here to speculate. Right. As you and I both being in the public information business, we talk about we are here to deal in facts. Mm-hmm. We can leave the gossip to the mainstream media because that's pretty much what it is anymore.
Well, let's talk a little more in depth about that. Our tactical intervention platoon,
yes,
commonly known as TIP, is the troopers that are going. Can you elaborate a little bit on what their detail is going to be and how they're going to be tasked and what they're going to be doing over there?
Well, now you're acting like the media, Rich. So no, I can't elaborate on what we're going to be doing there.
What I'm looking
we are there to help keep the peace.
Right.
And we are there to ensure that everybody has an opportunity to express their First Amendment rights. So the people that are invited guests, they have First Amendment rights. The people that want to protest the event, they have First Amendment rights. We are there to make sure that each side doesn't violate the other side's First Amendment rights.
And what I guess I'm looking at is these guys, these troopers are specially trained in crowd control, crowd direction.
Yes.
And they'll have the equipment to work with that. So it's kind of our unique persons that we have trained in that's going to be over there helping out.
And we have our TIP team, and that name goes back to the 50s. Mm-hmm. Because some people have asked, tactical intervention, are you going to be bringing big trucks and tanks and stuff like that? No, we're not doing stuff like that. We are there to help. We are there for preventative presence to keep the calm.
Good. And you and Tom are going to be over there a couple days taking some photos.
We're going to be there for a day, and it is unique. We want to capture for posterity the involvement that the Indiana State Police has there. We're looking forward to it being a safe trip. Tom and I will be leaving on this coming Tuesday. We will spend the night at a city outside of Cleveland. Because I know you'll be shocked to hear this. There's really no hotels. There's no room at the inn. So
maybe sleeping in your cars.
I don't even think we could find a manger to sleep in if we were looking for one.
Well, again, you've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance, Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police. My guest is Captain Dave Burston, the Public Information Office. We've been talking about the upcoming RNC and what we've been involved with in the past as a state police agency. Let's kind of change channels here a little bit, Dave.
Sure.
We've had a couple of events that's taken place that we've talked about on the road show previously. The museum car cruise-in. How did that come out?
Well, this was the last time we did. I was going to say the first time event, but we did one maybe 10 years ago. But our museum curator, Lauren Baker, and her very able assistant, Anna Wallace, talked about, wouldn't it be neat to have a little cruise in, not a full car show,
Mm-hmm.
but something where people, enthusiasts, could just come out, share the evening, listen to music,
Have some food.
have some food, and they had some delicious food out there. I think it was Hot Box.
Yeah.
That was excellent. And Donna brought her music truck out there and was playing 50s and 60s music. But they put all that together, and we did it on a very low budget. I think we had we paid a very fair price for the music, and we had $35 for signage. So,
But we had a big successful turnout.
we had about 125 cars come out. The weather was great. Weather always drives those events. The weather was fantastic. People enjoyed the time together. It was a success. So we plan on doing that again. Probably the next kind of outdoor event that we'll be doing in October. Last year we did a trunk or treat.
Right.
Want to thank Church Brothers Collision Center for sponsoring that. They provided the money for us to go out and buy the candy to give away to the kids. Church Brothers Collision Centers has committed to doing that again for us, and we're very grateful for that because we couldn't do it without their help. So we'll have that event, and we finally figured out, this is breaking news just for you, Rich. You know, all the times we do outdoor things and we need a tent.
Yeah.
We're buying our own tent.
All right.
We're going to have our own tent for our outdoor events. This is really exciting stuff.
Well, the other event that we talked about previously that was going to be taking place out there with the museum's help and also at a memorial was the laying of the wreath involving the Sons of the American Legion.
Very special. Just happened just over a week ago. The Sons of the American Legion. And for people that don't know about the Sons of the American Legion, those are people that have served.
Right.
The sons of are literally the relatives of people that were American Legion members, but because they perhaps weren't in wartime or did not serve in the armed services, they developed the Sons of the American Legion to help perpetuate the organization. I learned that Indiana has one of the most robust SAL, Sons of the American Legion organizations, detachment is what they call it, in the nation. They have over 35,000 members in Indiana.
I think they're the second largest in the nation.
Is it the second largest?
I think so.
I remember. Who was the largest? Do you remember?
I don't recall that, but I remember hearing and speaking with them that they're the second largest in the nation.
Yeah, they were large, and they came out a day in advance, performed maintenance on our memorial, on our front letters where it says integrity service, professionalism on the front. Some of the blacking had come out of the lettering in there. They came out, re-blacked all of that, so it really looked nice, and that was their active community service. Again, we were blessed with very good weather. Governor Pence spoke. Superintendent Carter spoke. We had the pipers out there. It was a very
And then the
very
next
nice
day they
event.
made a donation.
Yes, they did. And I just dropped that donation off a little bit ago.
To the museum.
Yes, they made a $500 donation to the Indiana State Police Alliance Museum account. So that's how we're able to host special events with it not being from the taxpayer.
Right.
So we were very, very grateful to them.
It was a great group of people that were there. Very respectful. Done a wonderful job with their program. And
Mike Pfeiffer did a great job.
Hopefully they'll be back again next year. We look forward to having them back. We got about a minute and 15 left, but I wanted to touch on also we had a little bit of a cancellation on a car show also involving the Church Brothers. Can you talk about that?
We were supposed to have a show June 4th. We got rained out, and the rain out date was rained out. So we're looking at September. I was hoping to have confirmation as we were doing the show today. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to tell people to kind of shade in September 10th. It's
not circle it, but shade in.
Shade it in. It's not firm, but we're in we're up in the to stay with the election politics stuff. We're up in the 95% area that's going to be the date. But stay tuned for other news. Check those car show websites, and they'll show when they're going to be. So
great.
We mark that date.
Well, we'll look forward to having that, and we'll have a news release out, Nixle and other stuff whenever that does come around. Well, Dave, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. We've discussed a lot of stuff. You and Tom be very careful out at the RNC, and hopefully you get back with some good pictures we can use.
Yeah, we'll come back with pictures and maybe do another roadshow and talk about our trip.
There you go. Well, it's been the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance, Cops for Kids. We appreciate you being here. Catch you next week. Roadshow is out.